So it was set to be the biggest legacy fight in British boxing history, Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. It was supposed to take place in October 2022 in a battle stemming from their father's fierce rivalry. But Conor's career was thrown into jeopardy following 2 failed drug tests coming into light on the week of the fight.
Conor has since been cleared, but as he prepares to fight his next opponent, the fight to clear his reputation also continues.
We're delighted that Conor joins us now from LA, where he is training ahead of his fight this weekend. We're also joined by his dad, boxing legend Nigel Benn, who I think, Nigel, are you on the way to take your other son to football training? You're in Australia, is that right?
I'm here right now at football training, Ben.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Well, the dad duties continue. They never stop, do they? Well, welcome to the show to both of you. Conor, it's great to talk to you. Just give us a sense, will you, of how important this fight against Peter Dobson is, just not financially, not because you're headlining. All these things are amazing that you're doing, but just because of the fight outside of the ring that you have had. You were unable to fight for something like 17 months because you were trying to clear your name of these 2 failed drugs tests. What has that time for you been like?
Yeah, you know, for me, it's been the hardest fight of my life, for sure. You know, going in the ring and fighting another man, that's the easy part. You know, sometimes it is life and the adversity it brings and, you know, the trials and tribulations I've had to go through. But, you know, it's been hard, it's been challenging, but, you know, I've got a good team around me and able to stay focused, stay in the gym and just keep working and keep learning and growing and developing to becoming the fighter I am now.
Conor, you were in the studio with us here and we were all very excited about the fight. And it wasn't long after that these drug tests came up. You've since cleared your name with regards to those. I know there is an ongoing appeal on that. We can't go into the legal ramifications of it. But I wonder how dark it got for you suddenly having to face, as you say, the toughest fight of your life and it not being in the ring. How bleak was that period of your life?
Do you know what? Nothing could have prepared me for it. And it was hard to accept it. I think there's many things in my life that I've gone through and, you know, this is no comparison. This is probably one of the worst things I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. You know, it's one of the worst things I've ever gone through. And, you know, I'm willing to spend every last penny I have and fight it to the death to prove my innocence. You know, because my name matters more to me than anything else. You know, fighting's fighting, you know, that's that. But your name stands forever. And so for me, it was, it's been hard, it's been challenging, but, you know, I've got good people around me, a good team of people. I've got my family who have, you know, shown me love and support. And, you know, I feel like I'm through it now. And, yeah, coming through the other side now.
Yeah, Nigel, you know, Conor talks there about your name is your legacy. And, of course, you began that legacy for the Benn family. How crushing was it for you when it is your own son who is getting these headlines, failing drugs tests? I mean, that moment where you heard that news for the first time, what was that like for you as a father?
I was with him preparing for the fight, the Eubank fight. So everything that he went through, I don't drink or anything. I ended up for 5 months, no word of a lie, I ended up drinking half a bottle of red wine every night. Suffered with depression.
It's hard to talk about even now.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary thing, Nigel, isn't it? Because your son, Conor, followed you into the boxing ring, a career which I'm sure you'd never really wanted him to have, and he had an amazing upbringing, but he was desperate to do it, and he's proved what an extraordinary fighter and talent he is. But as he's described, the toughest fight he's ever had is outside of the ring. It's trying to clear his name. And when suddenly you're there as his father and you can't protect him and you can see the struggle he's facing emotionally and mentally, it's apparent to us now how brutal that was on you.
It was because everything he went through, I went through as well. And I struggled with it. I came back to Australia and my wife said, "What's wrong?" I said, I don't know, Carl. I said to my daughter, and it was just like, I said, I just feel like jumping off your block, off the building that she was in. And she said, "Dad, what's the matter?" And I didn't realise that what I said But it just took over me for like 6 months. I was just living Conor's life, and I would not want to go through that again. It was just like I was trying to work, like the tour that I'd done, but I just couldn't focus because all I was thinking about was my son, what he was going through, and watching my son come and cry in my arms. That was the hardest thing, watching my son, knowing that he's innocent. That's what the struggle was, because he came crying in my arms, and it's like I was trying to be strong for him, but it's so funny. I needed my wife to be strong for me.
Yeah.
That was it. It was just so challenging. It was just like I was on my own, but I wasn't really good for Conor. I tried my best, but he knew I was hurting as well.
Conor, can I just ask you, we as, you hear these stories either whether it's in athletics or whatever sport it might be, drugs testing is part of the routine. You were trying to go up in weight, weren't you, in order to fight Chris Eubank? How paranoid, and I'm using that word carefully in a way, how paranoid does an athlete at the top level like you have to be about everything that goes in through their mouth or in an injection or whatever it is you're doing, whether it's in an inhaler or whether it's in a cough mixture or whatever it is? How paranoid do you have to be? And were you careful enough?
I'm always diligent with everything I take. I'm extremely careful. But, when the substance comes via food, you can't really gauge it. All my substance informed sport. And you have to be diligent because you don't know what they're putting in supplements these days. That's why I always take informed sports. So I know what I'm taking across the board. But when it's come via food, there's nothing, you can't do anything against that. How do you know what it is? If it says it's this, it's that. So you have to be careful anyway, as, it's an unforgiving. If an athlete tests positive, it's very unforgiving. People don't give you the benefit of the doubt.
No.
They don't wait to hear the facts. It's failed drug test, that's it, you're a cheat. And it's hard to see because now it makes me question everything differently. Those who are innocent, let them be innocent. They shouldn't be out to catch the innocent. But if you are proven guilty, ban any athlete for life. Ban any athlete for life. If the evidence doesn't match up and it proves that they aren't innocent and it's an intentional doping, ban them for life, especially in combat sport. There's no need for it. There's no room for it.
No.
It's a dangerous sport as it is.
But
I've seen,
Conor, you would, from your own experience, anybody that fails a test for whatever reason needs the right of appeal, which is exactly what you've been able to do to prove your innocence on that. So you can get, from your own experience, you would say you can get these anomalies, these false positives.
But how many hundreds of thousands do I have to spend? When you have athletes who may not have, the resources to do so, and then they've just got to take a 4-year ban or a 2-year ban. So it's hard because I believe there are plenty of athletes, innocent athletes out there, who are then proven innocent, but after all the trauma they've had to go through, and I'm happy to be here. Because there were times where it didn't look like I was going to see another day. And as much as that breaks my heart, because my dad we were both in the same boat. We were just both a mess, and I think we struggled to just accept it. And, even now that I'm through it and I feel like I'm through it and I believe I'm going to win the appeal as I won the original hearing, it's still very raw in me, you know. It's very raw and
we can see it on your dad's face, obviously. Let's talk about the fact that you're going to be headlining Vegas. This is obviously a fantastic moment, and it's nice to see you smile after talking about such dark times in both of your lives. OK, Nigel, Peter Dobson, what is Conor's fight going to be like? What are you expecting?
Do you know what? Remember, it's not even about him, it's about Conor. I'm not looking at him, I look at Conor or watch what Conor does. So I don't have my eyes fixed on him, I have my eyes fixed on my son, knowing his capability, the effort that he put into it, the training. So I'm not looking about what he can do, I'm looking at what Conor can do. And to me, in my opinion, if Conor can't beat him, get out of the game. Simple as that. I know my son's ability. I know my son will be better than me. And I want to come back on the show and I want to hit the punch bag because he had to hit it twice. Right? I'm not Ben, we've got to do it again. He had to hit it twice. I won the first one. And I'm
The
60
three
now,
bands going
and I can
against
still
each other.
beat him.
We should just point out the last time they were in the studio, we had a punch bag,
Yes.
and Conor and Nigel went up against each other to see who hit it hardest. And I'm going to be honest, Conor, you out punched your dad, didn't you? That's the problem.
Yeah, I did. I'm a heavy hitter. What can I say?
Oh my gosh, you had 2 hits.
Never stop being competitive. Conor, the fight is on Saturday the 3rd, so it's a week on Saturday. It's going to be on DAZN. I'll be watching, as you know. I'm a big fan of boxing, big fan of yours as well. But headlining Vegas, that's a moment in any boxer's career, any boxer that's loved the sport, any fan of the sport, to be headlining in Vegas is quite a moment.
Do you know what? To be headlining at 27 in Vegas, it's nothing but a dream. You know, at the Cosmopolitan, and we made sure that it's live at 10:30 p.m. UK time. You know, so I'll be fighting around 2:30 Vegas time. So live at 10:30 p.m. UK time. So all the supporters get to watch it, but to be headlining in Vegas, we got 4 boys from Essex on the show. You know, it's Essex taking over Vegas.
It's going to be brilliant. Looking forward to that. Thank you both for joining us.
Yep.
Nigel, we'll get you back in the studio so you can try and get revenge on your son.
I hope you're in time for football practice.
Yeah.
Is he just jumping in? Here you go. Amazing stuff.
I love that.
Once a dad, always a dad. No matter what, whether you're side of the ring, side of the football pitch, you're always supporting the boys. Great to see the
one
Benns.
son in Vegas in front of millions, the other one going to football training. That's the way it is.
Conor, good luck.
Good
we'll be
luck,
watching.
Conor.
And Nigel,
Yeah.
great to
Take
see
care,
you as
guys.
well.
Thank you.
Great to have you both on the show.
It's been quite a 16 months for that family.
Yeah, and they talk so openly and with rawness about it,
it's
don't
ongoing
they?
as well.
Yeah, it is absolutely ongoing.